For all the best boxing content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and punch that bell for notifications.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the MGM Grand at Foxwoods Resort and Casino for Showbox, the new generation. Brought to you by Lou DiBella's DiBella Entertainment in association with MGM Grand at Foxwoods, Breast Cancer Charities of America, Everlast, and Showtime. This bout is sanctioned by the Mashantucket Pequot Athletic Commission, Chairman George Henningsen, and the NABF, President Joe Dwyer, Supervisor in attendance, Jill Diamond. Your three judges scoring this contest ringside, Glenn Feldman, Clark Sammartino, and Steve Weisfeld. Your referee, Steve Smoger. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 10 rounds of boxing scheduled for the vacant NABF Super Lightweight Championship. Introducing first, to my right, he is fighting out of the blue corner. He wears black with white. Official weight, an even 138 pounds. He has a professional record, 11 wins, 4 defeats. He has 1 draw. He has 4 wins coming by way of knockout. Originally from New York City, but now living and fighting out of Vega Baja, Puerto Rico, Daniel Sostre. And his opponent across the ring fighting out of the red corner. He wears red with white. He tipped the scales at a ready 140 pounds. His professional record, a perfect one. 17 fights, 17 victories. He has 3 wins coming by way of knockout. From the Sunset Park neighborhood of Brooklyn, New York, Gabriel Tito Bracero.
Gentlemen, you were given your instructions in your respective dressing rooms. Please obey my commands, respect the bell, and above all, protect yourself at all times. Yep. Both belts are excellent. Touch gloves. God bless you both. Toca la mano. Let's go.
All right, we are ready for our opening bout tonight here on Showbox. In the red trunks, with his name across the front, at least his nickname, Tito Bracero, taking on Daniel Sostre. And while we're talking about colors, we should note right away, you see the pink ring. Of course, that's in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. DiBella Entertainment making sure that they honor the cause.
In terms of amateur experience, very similar number of bouts. Bracero, a 2-time New York Golden Glove champ, and equally impressive, Sostre, a Puerto Rican national champ. And pro experience, of course, Bracero turning pro, but then went away to jail for 6 years. So he has a much longer career, but very equal in terms of bouts and rounds.
Yeah, he's made up for lost time here the last couple of years, and you can see Bracero looking very comfortable in the pocket already. And this opening round will be interesting to watch here, Antonio, because Bracero has suddenly become an early round knockout artist in his career.
Yeah.
Last 2 fights, first and third round knockouts.
Exactly. I mean, he just found his power late, and you know, he's 30 years old, so he has that manpower with him. But I think it's something that they've been working on in the gym, and it's definitely going to help him as he move up in rank.
Should keep an eye on Daniel Sostre as well. He told us during our fighter meetings that he's been having trouble with his hands the last 3 fights, so he goes out that first round, kind of gets a sense of where his pain threshold is, and then let's go.
That's a tough way to fight.
Especially against an unbeaten opponent, but had a little pop in that punch.
Well, at the fighter meeting, Sostre promised us, he said, I have to back Bracero up. I only see one fighter backing up right now, and it's not Bracero.
No, not at all. Bracero has been steady, applying the pressure and really just kind of staying stationary because he's in control right now.
Yeah, and what I noticed that he's not really burning a lot of energy. You know, he's doing it in a very relaxed, poised state. And that's what these young fighters need to know. It's not all the energy that you burn, it's how much energy you conserve.
Good job with the left hand there. Jabbing and kind of catching as he backs up. And on the break, as he's warned by Steve Smoger, Tito threw a punch there. Both these fighters like to work the body.
Yeah, a lot of similarities actually between them. They're both kind of short for the weight class. They both like to work the body, and they're both primarily counter punchers. And anytime you get two counter punches, well, somebody's got to lead, or you're going to have a slow dance where nothing happens. Bracero's leading.
And Bracero's been more aggressive throughout this fight, continues to throw more than one punch at a time. Just about every shot being delivered in combination. Final 20 seconds of this opening round. There you see Bracero working the body, then going up top. Sostre was able to block a couple of those, but not all of them.
Don't punch step, Bell's coming, Bell's coming.
Good, confident opening round for Bracero, who came into this one sharing his strategy with us. As we're ready for round two, got to get the ring girl out. That's a delay of game I don't think you see too often.
Well, Smoger was all over that. He saw it.
Time in. The hell out of it.
All right, so now we're ready to start round two. Bracero looked very comfortable in that opening round, and you can see here where Sostre is trying to apply a little bit more pressure and get him maybe out of his comfort zone.
But I tell you, Bracero is so relaxed in there that when Sostre comes in with all that movement and that herky-jerky style, Bracero doesn't react to it because he knows he doesn't have to.
Once again, coming in combination. Rarely one punch at a time. Good job of catching him with that straight right hand after working the body.
And the reason Bracero is able to come in is because Sostre has right now refused to get his jab off. I mean, you got to keep your range. I think that'll be the best punch for him if he want to change the tide in these early rounds.
I think he's too busy trying to punch and duck at the same time because Bracero's doing a great job of counterpunching.
What I love about Tito Bracero, he fights in the pocket. You don't see him, he does use lateral movement, but he's always in the pocket, always within reach of his opponent, and that means his opponent's in reach of him. And if you're going to fight that way, you better be a good boxer.
Go punch step.
You can see even when Sostre landed a punch, that was more an open-handed slap than anything else. And now Bracero continues to be aggressive.
When you mention open hand slap, that may be because, this guy's had chronic hand problems.
Right.
He, don't know if his hand's going to hold up, and that's something that's really difficult for a fighter to have in the back of his mind.
Yeah, good point. He told us that it really has affected him the last 3 fights and during training as well. So if you're a fighter and you don't have hands, it's kind of hard to have much power. And he gets caught trying to get back up with a left hook by Bracero. Now trying to fight his way off the rope. Bracero won't give him any room.
Bracero's smart. He's going downstairs as well as upstairs.
Right hook to the body, left uppercut to the head.
It's hard to really criticize anything that Bracero is doing right now, but if I had anything that I would sort of critique, it would be to throw combination punches. It seems like he lets one go after another, Steve. I think those combination punches would be more effective.
He's been in control here as we get down to the final 30 seconds of round two. Good body work again. Forces Sostre to just almost turn backwards. That's about the only defense he's got right now. It's almost like a sparring session for Bracero because he's pretty much doing whatever he wants.
I think he's got hit solidly once in 2 rounds.
Sostre tries to end with a flurry, but another round goes the way of Bracero.
Corner, get out of there, get out.
2 rounds in the books, and at least according to our scorecards, 2 rounds in favor of Tito Bracero rather easily.
Well, this is tough for Sostre because his plan was to back Bracero up. He can't do it. He hasn't done it yet. And if he doesn't back him up, so what's plan B? I don't know if he has a plan B.
You may have to dig into C, D, and E the way this one's going right now. because Bracero is just doing whatever he wants. You talked about the relationship between Bracero and Tommy Gallagher. That's because Bracero was an accomplished guy before he went away to prison. He was a guy who grew up with Paulie Malignaggi and Luis Carajo. There you see there's the combination you were talking about. He's had the skills all along. It's just fighting off the rust since he's come back. And it looks like, Antonio, he's kind of gotten that rust worn off the last couple of fights.
Yeah,
that's the best right hand that Sostre's thrown all night. Sorry about that.
No, you know, Sostre has landed some shots, and it came out this round focused on the jab, but he needs to pump that jab instead of just pulling with it.
Another shot to the body.
Yeah, like you was mentioning earlier about Bracero, it just really feels good in and outside the ring that this guy has really put his life back together again. And these are these great stories that boxing fans need to fall in love with, follow this guy on his way up. I mean, it's just amazing what he's done.
It really is. Right now, he's maybe the toughest part of this fight he's been in is Sostre's leaning in on him. Good punch to get out of it by Bracero. And a good job by Sostre. Now he's being more aggressive. Here in those last 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, it seems like Sostre is mixing it up a little bit and giving Tito something to think about.
Absolutely. You see Bracero coming forward. Good left hand. Catches Bracero a bit off guard. But now, Sostre caught against the ropes and Bracero doing the damage.
Sostre's last fight, he lost to Ray Serrano. His worst moments in that fight came when he got caught on the ropes. He's got to stay off the ropes.
And now he's backing up, loses his balance almost. Steve Smoker, the referee, warning Tito Bracero once again not to hit when they're tied up. Final seconds of the third.
Better round for Sostre, but not good enough to win it.
I would agree. Maybe he's a second half fighter. We'll find out as we get ready for round number 4. Tito Bracero comes right back out, goes right back to work.
Well, Sostre made his presence felt in that round. I think Tito understands that he's in a fight.
Sostre with a good jab and a right and a hook.
Yeah, standing toe-to-toe is suddenly working for him. But Bracero continues to be aggressive as well. Good shot to the body, that's a slip.
I think there was a low left hand from Bracero there as well.
No knockdown. Clear on that one. Either a slip or their feet got tangled, one of the two, but no knockdown nonetheless.
Let him out, let him out.
It looks this round like Sostre is more determined to try to back Bracero off, but the question is, can he do it without getting hit a lot?
Well, the problem is, you see he took a big shot to the ribs and it forced him backwards.
Break, don't punch.
And it's kind of hard to regather yourself and then force Bracero backwards, which is what he has to do right now after taking a punch.
I think he needs to really focus on that jab from starting out and you know, his offense. He's pulling with it. He's really not throwing it with conviction. And he needs to move back with the cause, not move back with your head down where you can't see your opponent.
Good combination by Bracero.
See, the problem for whoever falls behind in this fight, you look at the knockout records, it's pretty clear. Neither one of these guys is a puncher. You don't want to fall behind, because if you need a home run to win and you're a singles hitter, you're in trouble.
A combined 33 bouts between the two, a combined 7 knockouts. You can hear Sostre's corner tell him to get more active. Can't really find an opening. Covering up as much as anything as Bracero just keeps on punching, forcing Sostre backwards.
We've talked about it last time he was on Showbox. The thing about Bracero that distinguishes him from so many fighters, consistency and focus. Those two things, I keep talking about it with him. I've never seen a fighter who fights every minute of every round the same way.
And that's a really good trait to have, because, you know, A lot of times fighters can come in shape, they both can be talented, but it's that mental focus that gives a fighter an edge.
Here we go again. Same old story. This is looking more like the first couple of rounds. Bracero throwing shot after shot, although Sostre did duck some of those, but once again, didn't duck enough of them.
It's not like you. Get out.
Ready for round 5 of this scheduled 10-round super lightweight bout. Kurt Menefee, Steve Farhood, and Antonio Tarver with your ringside as Tito Bracero in the red trunks takes on Daniel Sostre. In 3-4 rounds, we all have it scored 4 rounds clearly in favor of Bracero.
No behind the head. No behind the head.
We do, Kurt, and for each round we give Bracero, that's that much more urgency for Sostre because, again,
front, guys.
he doesn't have the knockout percentage to suggest he can do much about this falling behind in this fight.
Behind the head.
Sostre can only clutch with one hand and maybe try and deliver a couple of blows that he hopes will accumulate later on, but that's about it.
Yeah. And his trainer Gallagher was really asking Bracero to work that jab, but it's hard to work a jab when you're that close.
Right.
You're in close, and that's your best work.
Gets him with a straight right hand followed by the left hook, and now Sostre gets back up against the ropes again.
Now right there is where the position that you need to be dictating that jab and keeping him at base.
Sostre just trying to lean on Bracero. Maybe wear him down a little bit. Bracero leaning back and throwing a punch. He's almost letting Sostre punch at will now because he doesn't fear his shots.
It seems like if Sostre is going to have any success, he's going to be in a counterpunch type of fashion with, Bracero not expecting something to come back.
Well, Sostre's right hand is a lot more dangerous than his left hook, I'll tell you that. I think that's going to be his only ticket here. But I don't think he's technically sound enough, and his balance is good enough to land the kind of combination he needs to hurt Tito.
And he just landed a really nice right hand, but it had no effect on it.
And no left hook behind it.
And the problem is, you say, his balance as much as anything. Whether he's swinging wildly or on defense, it seems as though he can only line up one shot because he can't get himself in position to do more than that.
Exactly. When you're on the inside, you can see Bracero, yeah, he doesn't have much on his shots, but his feet are planted, his weight is under him, and that enables him to throw 3 and 4 punches.
Oh, good right hand delivered by Sostre, but he winds up taking 2 or 3 in return. Trading one shot for 3 is not going to help him at this point.
This round has been the best pace of the fight.
Final 10 seconds. Bracero looked like he was going to turn it up for a bit. Gets caught with a right hand by Sostre. Smoker gets out of the way, and we end round 5. But he did the limbo and got out of the way, I guess. Ready for the second half of this scheduled 10-round fight. Daniel Sostre, or at least according to our scorecards, is trying to get his first round, and he told us, did Sostre, he goes, hey, I'm not a big puncher, but I will wear you down. Well, he needs to start doing that right now as we get into the final 5 rounds here if this thing goes 10.
Yeah, Kurt, he has to realize that he's behind in this fight. He's going to need something big, a knockdown, or something to bring it closer. And his best work has been with his counterpunching ability.
When you watch Bracero, too, as Sostre tries to make the play here, Tito has defense in many forms. He can block punches, he can use his feet, he backs up using his feet, using lateral movement. A lot of different ways to play defense for Bracero, and he uses them all, and that's been very effective for him.
You know, it's interesting you watch these two fighters. I mean, they're separated. Sostre only has a half-inch longer reach, but it looks like a lot more than that, and it looks like he gets tied up more when they're close together because of it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of experience still left for Sostre to fine-tune his boxing game. It looks like, you know, he has the tools, but he just needs to get in the gym. He needs to work very hard to perfect the little things that'll make him a better fighter.
You can hear his corner saying the very same thing we were talking about. His balance is so off right now.
Yeah, when he throws that right hand, he's totally off balance. There's never a left hook behind it, and he falls in.
And that's because, Steve, he's not committing to his shots. You know, that right there was just all arm punches. He's not committing with the shot, meaning he's not bringing his body behind the shots.
Is it because of fear of getting hit? Not that he's afraid, but I mean that he's so close that if he tries, it seems as though Bracero has an answer for it.
You know, he's conscious of that. You know, a lot of times fighters, they don't commit because they're leery of what's going to come back. It's a risk, but it's the risk that may pay reward.
Or that he needs to take right now because he's so far behind.
Exactly.
He's kind of tapped Tito with that jab a couple of times here in this round, but not taking advantage of it. More of a love tap than anything else, but the opening is there for him.
And I think when you look back at this fight, he's going to say, wow, I could have done a lot of good work with my jab. And I think that's one of the things that he needs to get in the gym and really focus on.
Well, as we mentioned, this is his first fight with his new trainer, Bebe Centeno. He went back to Puerto Rico to reunite. They started their careers together, separated when he came to the States. And maybe that's something that they will work on. As once again, another flurry to finish the round. Sostre fighting back with Bracero takes another. You know, that's the best you can do. Here we go, round 7. Once again, you see Bracero just come back out, sit down, and go, let's go. He is definitely a confident fighter and seems to be growing more and more confident with each bout he takes on.
Right now, his focus should be, you know what? You never can gamble with going to the scorecard. So I've been hitting this guy with all my best shots. Let me see, can I put a combination together, maybe hurt him, maybe get him out of there.
And that last time he rocked Sostre, it was more of a push than a punch.
I'd like to see a little more body work from Bracero, especially when they're inside like this. See, for me, the thing about Bracero, I marvel at his consistency and his focus, as we've talked about many times. But I want to see, when he moves up in class, and he hasn't really done it yet, what happens when he's uncomfortable in a fight? What happens when he has to adjust? Can he do it? And that remains to be seen, because he hasn't had to do it yet as a pro.
Yeah, he's been very comfortable tonight. And almost from the opening bell. Dictated the fight all evening long as he catches Sostre with a good overhand right as Daniel was stepping forward.
Well, I can say for Bracero, I mean, he's been fighting at one speed, one level, one gear. I mean, when you move up in the ranks and you fight these seasoned pros that have these long, extensive amateur backgrounds, you're going to have to be tricky with your fight. You're going to have to throw out, you know, make him see things that he don't want to see. Just trick him. You got to use your mind. And I think that's what he needs to work on a little bit more.
Sostre is trying to lean on Bracero again. There he fights his way off. Inside a minute.
Go punch.
Tied up, leaning again. And Bracero is the one this time who fights his way out of it.
Yeah, definitely infighting favors Bracero. I mean, Sostre needs to get a little distance to get his work done.
That's what I was saying earlier. It's amazing. There's really no difference in their reach. One, Bracero 68.5 inches and Sostre 69. But it seems as though when they're up close, Bracero is at home. And Sostre looks like his arms are too long. He can't do it. Final seconds.
And it's very evident to everybody in the arena, including the judges, that you've been hit hard.
Yeah.
Is that silly or is that good? I don't know.
You're not asking Antonio, who has no hair, are you?
Antonio, when you turned pro, were you hairless? Or
Hairless.
You were, okay. So your hair never went flying when you got hit?
Maybe an opponent or two, that's it. Round 8, Bracero continues to be the aggressor. That is not a good spot for Sostre. Caught up against the ropes. And all he's doing right now is leaning on Bracero. You know, we talked about Bracero and the 6 years plus he spent in prison. We also mentioned that what a likable guy he is and an affable guy. And if anybody's ever had a chance to meet him, he's a prime example of what you hope happens with a prison system. We talk about rehabilitation. Here's a young man who went there on a weapons charge and really turned his life around, got himself together. He's a father of 5, he's a dedicated fighter. And Tommy Gallagher knew him before he went to prison and said, this guy is totally different than he was when he was a young man.
That's a true boxing story, and it happens in boxing more than any other sport. In that sense, being that he had trouble when he was such a young man, came back, and he's been fighting well. It reminds me of Antonio's best friend, Bernard Hopkins.
Yeah. He's a good friend.
I know you root so hard for Bernard.
Right.
And in that sense, he's similar to Bernard, obviously at a drastically different level as a fighter, but
A little quieter. Sostre's trying to go toe-to-toe right now, but just not effective inside at all. I mean, Bracero's not even moving.
yesterday Bracero told us he's now hitting his opponents and trying to hurt them, and that's why he got a couple of knockouts recently. I don't know, do you see that tonight?
Well, I mean, he's doing what he's letting his hands go. Like I said, it's important that you not be so one-dimensional with your opponent. Trick him, counter-punch. I think you should try countering right now because it seems like the path that he's on, he'll get the win, but he may not get the knockout.
When you're this dominant as he has been tonight, is there a need to change? Or you go, in this fight, let me just keep doing what I'm doing, and I'll worry about that next fight?
Well, I mean, it's how you win. I mean, if you can knock a guy out, you want to knock him out. That's impressive on your resume. And I think he has opportunities to do that with all the body shots that he's landed. Obviously, I don't think Sostre is as strong as he was earlier. So counter-punching, maybe lure the guy in, trick him, could do the work.
Wild swing again by Sostre. Gets out of the way, makes it to another round, but well, there's a little history for you. Neither of these guys have ever fought 9 rounds professionally. Obviously, nor is an amateur. Maybe in the gym somewhere, but this is their first time going into the 9th. And we'll see if Sostre can do anything. At least on our scorecards, hasn't won a single round yet.
And the way it looked, like he was walking back to his corner, really dejected, shaking his head. Really can't figure out the puzzle. So, I don't know. We'll see.
He's trying to bounce around a little bit, show maybe a little bit more energy than he did at the end of that 8th round. Because there were times then that he was just leaning in and looked like, he's just trying to get out of this fight the best he can.
Well, what would be discouraging the most for me if I was Sostre is that he's at 138 pounds, best shape he's ever been in. He's the naturally bigger guy, and even on the inside, he's getting outfought. So there's really no way for him to get back into this fight or to pull it out.
Yeah, and now he's trying to fight at a distance, but Bracero's just blocking everything he throws. So really no answers for Sostre tonight.
But this is the distance that he should have fought earlier on. Now you see where Bracero is not able to come in effectively. He can't sit still. You got to throw arms and, put something in the guy's face.
Missed. Just beginning to revert back. You're right, that first minute and a half. Sostre was bouncing around, keeping some distance, but now he's just forced to be defensive again.
And he's good sometimes. He's pretty slick. He bends at the waist, lets punches fly over his head, but that alone is not going to win you any fight.
Don't punch, step.
Bracero now forced to go backwards for one of the rare times tonight. But when he does it now, it's by choice.
I'll tell you a fight I'd like to see. Tito Bracero against the guy who beat Sostre last time, Ray Serrano, who's an undefeated junior welter. Two different promoters, so it's hard to make, but that's a fight I'd like to see, a good New York style matchup.
Well, it'll be interesting because Bracero is now to the point that he told us he wants to start fighting top 10 fighters next. He believes that he's at that stage in his development.
Well, let's hope him, see, he get by this win. We'll see what's up. His promoter, Lou DiBella, definitely said that that's in the near future. I would advise him to get that power up a little bit and throw combination punches a little bit more.
Well, he's doing it right now and keeping the pressure on against Sostre to end round 9. Super lightweight matchup. Tito Bracero in control from the opening bell, and on our scorecards has won every single round. Daniel Sostre will try and finish with a little pride.
And Kurt, I'm not so sure what it was, but Bracero seemed a little peeved in between rounds because Gallagher was touching him and he was slapping Gallagher's hands away. I don't know what that was about.
I can tell you, I think that, Gallagher told him that go out here, don't let the judges steal it from you and all that. But he should have been honest with the guy and told him he was up ahead and box smartly instead of going out here, taking a risk, and probably can get caught or, get hit with something unnecessary.
Well, he is being aggressive right now, but so is Sostre. This is some of the best exchanges we've seen all night.
Well, we understand why Sostre needs to fight right now because he's behind big in this fight.
But Bracero being aggressive to the pleasure of his corner. And as you said, you don't want to do anything that gets you into a dangerous position, but fighting a guy who only has 4 knockouts, maybe he doesn't fear that one-punch blow.
Right.
Don't punch, don't punch. Step out. Great, guys. A little bit to go, a little bit to go.
Well, in the end, this will be a good performance by Bracero. Keep his record unbeaten, barring a knockout by Sostre.
And let's keep in mind that unlike a lot of prospects with records like Bracero's that we see on this show, Bracero's 30 years old.
Yeah.
Now, granted, he had those 6-7 years where he didn't take any punishment, but nonetheless, it's time for him to move on.
And something I noticed with Bracero, it seems like he brings that back foot up, which is a bad habit, when he throws his right hand, and he gets parallel a lot of times, and it looks like he's walking one foot in front of the next. That's something that when he moves up in the ranks, he's going to have to be very leery about.
1 minute to go here in this final round. This fight going to finish on the inside like much of it was fought. And Bracero in control like he has been all night. He's got Sostre on the run here with 36 seconds to go.
Well, I don't think we're getting a stoppage. To me, the only drama here, the judges scored a shutout.
Well, at least Bracero knows he can go hard for 10 rounds. It's a good way to build some momentum.
First time he's ever been 10. First time either fighter has ever been 10. But it's obviously more important if you go 10 and win, particularly if you can take all 10 rounds, because on our scorecards, I think he's going to win all 10 rounds. Once again, their legs get tangled up. That's the 3rd time we've seen that happen tonight. And that's how the fight will end.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds of action here at the MGM Grand at Foxwoods, we go to the judges' scorecards. Clark Sammartino and Steve Weisfeld both scored this bout 100-90. Glenn Feldman scored this contest 99-91. All for your winner by unanimous decision. And new NABF Super Lightweight Champion, Gabriel Tito